Hi everyone, welcome to Gnan Cloud Garage. In this session, I'm going to talk about how does high-level evolution shape our future IT ecosystem and security assessments demystified. Okay, so here is the quick agenda. The first key point is what is the high-level evaluation process involved in the assessment, and the second point is security assessment must cover the entire IT ecosystem. Ecosystem, in other words, environment, entire IT environment. So let's start with the first point. So the assessment process, high level evaluation process, and defining the future state. It includes six steps. So let's start discussing about step one. So step one is determine assessment scope and define scope, identify assets to assess and establish objectives and criteria. Let's say when we are planning to evaluate or do the assessment to our entire IT environment, first of all, we should have a how many networks we have and how many servers we have, how many storage equipments we have, how many virtual machines. All the information we should have a entire IT environment details so that we can start based on our assessment. Whatever the assets we have, based on our assessment, we can establish our assessment scope. Okay, and the second step is information gathering. So collect infrastructure data and information on hardware, software, and network. Not only hardware, network, it will also include software. And another third step is analysis. Align to a cybersecurity framework for review of current state and to define target of future state. And fourth step, reporting and roadmap. So document the assessment findings and recommendations and create a roadmap to mitigate gaps. In generally, when we are planning to use any security scanning tools or vulnerability assessment tools, at the end of the scanning, it will generate a report like generally either a PDF format or any document format. Some documents are like a Excel sheets. So within the Excel sheet, we can see all the information, whatever the assets we have, specific to all the assets, there is some findings, recommendations. So those recommendations we have to mitigate based on the gaps. And remediation, perform remediation of vulnerabilities and implement mitigating controls. Even within the security scanning tool, it will provide a remediation step. For example, let's say our ESXi host is currently running with ESXi 7.0 update 2 version. The remediation it will shows it has to update with a latest patch ESXi 7.0 update 3. That is one mitigation. And similarly, if our operating system running with the Windows 2022, it's running with the minor patch, old patches, it may recommend to update with the latest patch. And similarly for application, if our operating system running with the SQL Server, that SQL Server version also, it will recommend for a latest patch. Those are the sample remediation and also the vulnerability findings and also the recommendation, associated recommendations. And last but not the least, follow. So monitor the infrastructure over time for effectiveness of remediation and for new risks. Okay, generally this security assessment, it will help us to balance the ease of and preventing the unauthorized access. Okay, that is a main key intention, because most of the time in every day frequently there is a new cyber threat emerging or evolving in the industry. So to prioritize or to reduce these assessments will help us to reduce the cyber attacks and also threat actors target data everywhere all the time. Okay, I repeat, this assessment process and mitigation will help us to reduce the potential for cyber attacks and data breaches. Okay, now another key point is security assessments must cover the entire IT ecosystem. So let's start with the first key point is infrastructure security. So underlying infrastructure main components are network, server, storage, virtualization layer. These are all our core infrastructure components. So network means it includes switches, a router, firewall, load balancer, devices. And servers means we may have some rack mount servers from blade servers. Some are the synergy frames kind of better blade servers as well. And storage depends on the organization. They may have some FC SAN, some organization may use iSCSI SAN, some may use a virtual SAN, some may use any of the virtual volumes or NAS storages. Okay, and virtualization layer means nowadays we have a virtual. When we say virtualization means it have a server virtualization means vSphere, network virtualization means NSX, and storage virtualization means vSAN or virtual volume. These layers also should cover under the infrastructure layer. And additional areas, that additional areas include access control. This access control, that means ACL, access control list. This access control management cover for all the environments. We have a accessibility for network, server, storage, and also virtual machine. And patch management also cover for all the areas. Starting from hardware, we have a firmware update, and we have a ESX, a hypervisor level updates. We also have a operating system level updates and patches, and even it includes a storage level updates, and also application layer update and upgrades. And security configuration. Generally, security configuration means we should maintain some encryption policies and also two-factor authentication. We are just adding additional layers of security just to reduce the potential risks. Okay. And another assessment key item is compliance. So evaluations for meeting regulations, regulatory requirements, and industry best practices. So which must cover infrastructure and virtual machines applications. These applications means not only a virtual machine layer tier-based application, it will also cover container-based applications. Even if the customer is using monolithic architecture application, it should cover all the layers of applications. And virtual machine security. Within a virtual machine, security control effectiveness of firewalls, intrusive detection prevention systems, and advanced threat protection, anti-malware software. Sometimes we may cover within our guest OS antivirus software, or sometimes we may use additional external third-party softwares, and VM template image management and VM encryption. And some organization may use virtual machine default native encryption. Some organization they may use external KMS server, key management server. Using external KMS servers also, we can encrypt our virtual machines data so that it will be highly secure. And another assessment item is disaster recovery and business continuity, in short form DR and BC. So evaluation for adequate recovery and business continuity plans, BCP, in the event of a breach, attack, or disruption. And application security, access control effectiveness, authentication mechanisms, encryption, input validation, intrusion detection and prevention systems, and advanced threat prevention. So these all the items must be covered. And the GRC, that means governance, risk, and compliance. So evaluations for the effectiveness of the organization's GRC process, and risk management, policy management, and compliance monitoring. So these are all the security assessment we must cover within our IT environment. Okay, so that's it for today. Hope you understand. Thank you. If you're watching this video first time, please do view, like, share, and subscribe to the Ignan Cloud Garage channel. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate all your support. Bye for now.